will be.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me.
That's fine.
I'll record it as well, so then you can put it in your group if you want, if that helps.
Absolutely.
Everything always helps. Beautiful. Just make sure we're going live before I jump into an introduction. Yes. Okay, we are live. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, folks. If you have tried to join in live, I do apologize. I've had 6 minutes of tech issues, but we are here. That's it. We move on. So welcome along. I really want to introduce the beautiful Stha with us. We met a few weeks back and have had this organized for a couple of weeks, and we just hit it off so well. Stha is in a close network of coaches that I'm with, and I just know that you guys are in really good hands here. So Stha is an NLP certified women's speak up coach, and she helps women find their own voice and speak up to feel supported and understood. How amazing is that? And I know that our community lacks a little bit of their voice, their confidence, their self-esteem. And so I wanted to bring you in, Stha, to help us and our women, our tribe, speak up so they can have their needs met. So thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's absolutely our pleasure. Would you like to introduce yourself and kind of give us a little bit of a backstory of what's brought you here today?
Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me. It's such a privilege, which I don't take lightly at all,
Of course.
because
I'm just gonna update everyone while you're talking. I'm not ignoring you.
that's absolutely fine. So yes, as B has already said, Stha, I am a certified NLP coach, and I help women on their voices, speak up, feel heard, feel supported, feel understood, because I think that lacks a lot in our communities or in our society.
Hmm.
So a little bit about me. Of course, I'm just a mom of two, and I'm married.
Just, excuse me.
Well, I was talking to another lady. She says, "Oh yeah, I've got 9 kids." I was like, "Okay, I'm not complaining anymore." So that's something in the context of that, yes. But no, yeah, no, they keep me busy and all. So yes, I'm blessed with them too. Uh, After a backdrop, that's just a little bit about me. So I struggled to be a mom. That was one of the things that I honestly wanted so badly. And it didn't happen for me straight away. It took 7 years and 6 miscarriages down the line to be able to be blessed with them too. So I
Wow.
am forever so grateful. So yes, that's my first role before anything else. So I'm a mom, and obviously, me being a coach as well. So yes, that's a little bit about me. So
Amazing. So how did you get into the coaching space, Stha? Sorry, you're probably about to say before I interrupted.
that's absolutely fine. To be honest, I never envisioned myself doing what I'm doing now, because I don't, and I'm not an eloquent speaker by any means way at all, but I want to be heard, you know. So why I wanted to do this is because I felt like there wasn't enough representation of us women, pulling each other up and helping each other, along the way. It's, I think, for women especially, we are known for pulling each other down, and we're known for all the negative things. And I wanted to turn that tide, around, because sometimes you go into spaces, you want to say things, the first person who's going to critique you is another woman, instead of maybe helping you to feel good, or maybe give you like positive criticism or something. A woman is going to be the first person who's going to let you know, oh, do you know what? You could have put in your eyebrows a little bit higher. It doesn't look even, or something. Oh, I don't like your makeup. It suits you better when you do this and do that. That's women. And I needed to be in a space where I am able to contribute positively. Not even just that. So for me personally, I grew up in an environment whereby, as a woman, I could voice my opinions. Culturally, women, we are silent, we are seen, but we're not heard. You can be all that, maybe even have the accolades and stuff, but you are not supposed to be heard. So it was very tough for me because I'm a very opinionated person by nature. So you can imagine, how it felt, um, knowing that I have got ideas, I've got differing opinions from, somebody else, but because of the environment that I'm in, I can't speak up. So it was very, very hard to a point that even in the workplace, I was in corporate as well for a very long time. I found it difficult, literally, to be able to express myself the way that I wanted because it was now already embedded inside of me. And it was tough. But I just realized, what, there's so many things that are happening around me in our society. And nobody's challenging that and nobody's standing up. And I'm like, if I can't be my own voice, then who will be? So here I am.
Amazing. So we've got certified, and here you are teaching women how they can stand up through just
Absolutely.
passion and grit and your own experience of not having that around you.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, well, as I've mentioned, we have a lot of women here that could probably do with a little bit of support, a little bit of finding their voice. I think the main problems, and please, if anyone's watching this live, please jump in, let us know what you struggle with, let us know what your problems are, and how you struggle finding your voice, or if you feel like you have one. But I think some of the main things that we talk about inside this group is an angle to explain like why they're dieting and how they're dieting, whether it's using a plant-based diet or trying to be healthier. There's the social there's the social norm side, which I'm trying to argue is why is being healthy considered a diet and why is that taboo when
Mm.
a fully processed junk food diet is the norm, right? Let's just start asking people, do you still eat processed foods? Let's normalize that. But for some women who especially live in different, like really remote areas, we have a lot of people who live in like farming towns, for example, and dairy towns and stuff. And a lot of women who struggle to speak to their partner. So, I mean, it might be two totally different conversations that you would want to
Mm.
have, but these are the same, that these are the kind of the problems that our women are typically having. So
Mm.
they're struggling to find their voice and they're feeling very suppressed by it and don't feel like they have that support in that community. I guess I'm going to probably drop you in it here then by asking you like if that's kind of like the topic that we would go for,
Mhm.
what would be your steps? Do you have any information or anything that you would love to share around this?
Yeah. So firstly, I would be asking, any woman who feels, they cannot express themselves. My first question is, um, how do we know and how do we know what you stand for if you never speak up?
Hmm.
How do we know this is what you want if you're not saying it?
Hmm.
Because I think sometimes we have what I find sometimes as well is maybe there is an underlying thing why we can't speak up. Is it shame? Are you ashamed of what you're doing? Or is it you're feeling guilt that maybe I am maybe having this diet, but my partner is not having this? Is it what is about? Because if this is what is about, no one should ever feel any shame or guilt standing up for who they are or
Hmm.
what they are believing in. That's one that I'm going to say, to us as women, especially. I know that it's very tough out there, when you've got a spouse who loves a McDonald's, Big Mac every single day. They're understanding, why all of a sudden, you are, not joining them in. You don't want another Big Mac as well, sitting there by side and stuff like that. And I think as well, it starts by you being accepting. This is now your world. That's your perspective. Don't expect the other person to change because you are changing. That's one thing as well that I'm gonna say, because I think
Mm,
sometimes when we are changing, automatically is I want my partner as well to change. I want other people around me to do like I do, but they don't have to, because they get to decide, they get to have a choice, just like you made that choice for yourself. But you can feel supported first by making sure that you are able to speak up, know what you're standing for. Because I think if you are shaky as well, not being confident enough to say, okay, this is what I want to do, maybe even wobbly about it, but your mind hasn't been really made, or you haven't fully decided that this is what I want to do, then you're gonna find it difficult, obviously, to defend what you're doing. But if your heart is in it and this is what you are really wanting to do, you will not find it very difficult. I think when you start doing the actions for yourself, because I think everything starts with us, not with anybody else. Because I think the expectations that sometimes we have of, okay, I would love somebody to support me, they will be able to support you, but it starts with you. But what are you doing yourself? Are you showing that commitment? Are you showing that dedication to what it is that you want so people can support you? Because you know what, some people sit on the sidelines just to watch and see, are you for real? Let's see how long you're gonna go without, being tempted. I'm gonna just buy my Big Mac and sit next to you, and I'm gonna enjoy those chips, and you're gonna be like, can I just have a bite? You know. So, what is it going to take for you to continue? Because I think another thing is we let ourselves down. Because for me, what I believe is confidence comes by trusting in ourselves. When I say that I'm going to do something and go through with it, that's me building my own trust. And that's when I'm building the muscle of being confident. And when I'm confident with what I want to do, it will not be a difficult thing for me to express to the people that are around me, what I am doing, because I'm standing on my word. I am being consistent. I am doing what I want to do. And then in turn, they will be drawn in, like, wow, she really is determined to do what she is doing. And before you know it, they'll be asking you questions. Oh, I see your skin glowing now. What are you doing? Give me some tips. Can I maybe try? Maybe once a week, I'll try your diet and see how it goes. Before you know it, they're all drawn in because they're seeing your consistency. Because you have made it, you are, what is it? You are convinced this is a path for me, this is a way for me. And then it's easy for people to support you when you have absolute certainty that this is what I want to do. It makes it
mhm.
so much easier for somebody else to support you. I hope it
I love,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah, I love that. I feel like that's like a bit of a hidden horse. It's like a way that you can speak up for yourself is in the way that you act. And the
Yes.
way that you need to act is being consistent with what you want to demonstrate. So I was just making notes just so I can put some bullet points at the
Oh,
end.
no, that's fine.
So far I've got ask yourself, what exactly do I want? So get crystal clear so other
Absolutely.
people can understand, so you can converse and communicate exactly what it is that you want.
Mm.
um Accept your world, don't expect the world to change for you. um
And I was going to add on that and say, do you know, I think sometimes when we say speaking up, it's not even about just using words. There is so much power in our body language, in our actions. You are saying a million things. You by just, sometimes not even, maybe not able to articulate what you have to articulate or say, but you can show it with your actions. And people be like, hmm, and eventually they're gonna get it. So speaking
mhm,
up is not even about just words alone. It's about even your actions. They have to back up what you are doing and what you are saying.
mhm, mhm. Okay, so trust in yourself by following through on your word and being
Mm-hmm.
consistent with that. I do see that a lot, and that's a really good point to make because uh, as women who are chronically dieting or yo-yo dieting, it's very easy for someone to say, "Okay, babe, I'm on a diet.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't tempt me," and then they'll be doing what they want to do. Like
Yeah.
step number two, right? Accept the world. Don't accept it to change for you. I can't speak, tongue tied or what.
That's
So then people would be like, yeah, no, no, I'm on a diet. And then someone, their spouse or partner will bring home some food. And they're like, yeah, just give me, I'll just have a chip or I'll just have a bite. And before you know it, they're eating their food.
yeah.
How can you expect your word to be solid and trusted and followed through if you're constantly going against it? So without
Yeah.
saying that we're the victim, it's like, well, you need to demonstrate what you want and what you expect them to give you in return. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I think it's easy as well to blame somebody else when things aren't going right our way. It's easy
Mm-hmm.
to find an excuse and say, you know what, I wasn't able to do this because, my partner loves you know, grilled meat every day, and it's there, the smell and everything else. It's easy, but it takes um, some sort of resilience from your side. It's a mindset thing as well, more than anything else, to say, you know what, this is my journey, this is what I want to do. One thing that somebody said to me that was very powerful was the fear, or rather the goal that I want, is bigger than the fear of doing it. So this lady loves traveling. She enjoys traveling. She wants to be flying everywhere and doing so much more with family and everything else. But she was so scared of flying. That was like one thing. Every time she had to fly, she had to do like a hypnosis thing and whatever just to help her. But then she said, I could have just easily stopped, just gone traveled locally. We don't have to fly and everything else. But her desire and the dreams that she had to experience other things outside of her normal environment were bigger than the fear of getting into the plane. So sometimes the goals or the dreams that we set ourselves have to be big enough or push us enough for us to say, do you know what? This is much more important than the fear that is standing in my way. This is much
Mm-hmm.
more important than what anyone else is going to say. Me being healthy and fit and living a life that is with longevity and all is much more important than me having to just shove that big mark just for one day and set myself back for a lifetime, because it's easy to put on and get on with those terrible habits, but it's very hard to let go.
Mm-hmm.
People put on weight so easily, but putting it off is the hardest thing ever, you know. So you need to know that, you know what, my goal. So, for example, for me at the moment is I'm working on me being healthy. You know, Bianca, in England here, it can be very cold and uncomfortable sometimes for you to get out of bed and just like, I don't want to do this. But for me, I'm like, I want to live a healthy, long life, be able to enjoy my kids and their grandchildren. So my health is priority than the bed calling me, to sleep in a few extra minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So my goal, my desire is bigger than the things that are standing in between me. So the fear of whatever is happening becomes tiny compared to the goal and the dreams that I have. So, what is it that you're wanting? Are you driven enough for you to say, okay, I really want to be in the health space? What is the reason why you are in his? What are you doing? Why are you doing it for? Is the reason big enough for you to consistently do it? Or it's not big enough, you are easily able to just, detour along the way and say, I'll see it tomorrow. You know, does a bucket of tablets every single day entice you to say, you know what, I'd rather, shut them down tablets every single day than just do what I'm supposed to be doing, with following the plan that Bianca has given to me. So I think it's absolutely realizing, are we setting our goals big enough, or is there, what is the cost of you not doing it? What is it
Mm-hmm.
costing
Mm-hmm.
you? That's a big thing. What is it going to cost you? If you don't do what you're supposed to do, what is the cost? Is the cost bigger than, doing it?
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Okay, so a lot of like the groundwork is like it feels like what we've discussed so far is the groundwork, like the self-work. It's like, okay, so the first step in being able to speak up for yourself is getting really crystal clear on what you want, understanding what your why, making sure that your
Absolutely.
why and the reason for standing up, regardless of whether it's just standing up to your mum because she keeps pestering you, or whether it's
Mm,
that you want to change your entire lifestyle. It sounds like, if you're struggling with speaking up, getting clear on these things are like the first big steps.
it
So
is.
ask your so I've got, is your true desire and your why strong enough to push you forward? Ask myself, what is the cost?
Mhm.
Amazing. And how about when it comes to speaking up?
Okay.
How about when it am I throwing you under the bus here? How about when it
No.
comes to getting to like the asking for what you want, or being heard?
Okay. The first thing is, do you know what you want to ask? And do you know what you actually want?
Hmm.
Because if you do not know what you want, then how are you going to ask for it? You know,
Hmm.
it's one thing to say, um, I think I may want to do this, you know, or I want to do this. Could you support me in this? And I think
Mm.
another thing that I've learned is sometimes we are asking for permission for things that people
Hmm.
don't need to give you permission for. You have to
Mm.
give permission to yourself first, you know, ask for their support, but give yourself the permission.
Hmm.
Because I think many times we are asking for our partners, for our parents, for our siblings, for permission. Oh, is it okay if I do this? No, it's not their decision to make. It is your decision to make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get this so much. So when I get when I start again, when I get on calls with people and they are so excited and so ready to start their program, and they say, I just need to ask my partner. And I know from being in the coaching field, most of the time is not about asking them, because at the end of the day, we are typically or hopefully in a relationship where our partner supports us. So you know that it's going to be, babe, if this is what you need, then this is what you need, right?
Absolutely.
And hopefully everyone's in a relationship where that could be the response, as opposed
Mm,
to absolutely no, not.
mm.
So typically, and again, statistically, or majority, should I say,
Yeah.
majority of the reasons is
Uh-huh.
they just need someone to say, that's okay, you can do it. So
They
this
want
is so key.
validation. Are they wanting
Yes.
validation for somebody to say, oh, am I making the right decision here?
And why is that? Is that because we don't trust ourselves?
Mm, yes.
Mm, juicy, juicy.
When you trust yourself and know for certain this is what I want to do, you are never ever going to ask for permission from anybody, but you will ask for support
Hmm.
because somebody who cares about you and they know for sure this is what you want to do, absolutely they will support you. Like I said earlier, do you know if I come to you and say, do you know what, Bianca, I think I need to try this because I think it's a trending thing, and then your partner asking you, oh, why, what benefit is it to you? I'm not so sure, but I think it's good, it's good for my health and stuff, but I'm gonna see as I go along. They will not support you because you aren't convinced yourself. But
Hmm.
when you know, in the knowing of the knowing that this is what I want to do, even the conversation changes. When
Hmm.
I'm coming to you, I'm like, do you know what, Bianca? This is what I want to do. I've realized that, what, I have been doing things wrongly for the past few years. My health is paramount. I realize that if I don't do this, there are these diseases that can pop up, in my years now. This can happen, and I might end up losing this and this. This is what it's going to cost me. It's a different, even the way that you're speaking is very different. And then your partner's like, oh, wow, I never realized that. Okay, what do you want from me? What do you need from me? I want your support.
Hmm.
Do you think
Amazing.
somebody's going to say no when you come to them like that?
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because in my I'm running a free 5 day challenge at the moment, and yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I literally put up on the screen the story of me asking for support rather than permission, and how
Ah,
much that changed my life. And just that one question. And so yeah, it's saying I know that this is right in my bones and for me.
mm-hmm,
Um, why, like, the other person that you're getting validation from or permission from isn't living in your shoes, right? They might be
absolutely
living in
not.
your house, but they're not living in your shoes. If
Yes.
you know that it's right for you, then it's right for you.
Yeah.
Why throw that off track when someone else in your house doesn't understand all of the feelings and emotions that go behind it? And this
Mm.
can be done for dieting, it can be said for trying on a plant-based diet,
Hmm.
it could be said for cleaning out the house or sorting out a meal plan or anything like that.
Absolutely. And I think we shortchange ourselves because I think we have these expectations of people that sometimes are very unrealistic. You
Hmm.
can't expect somebody to like, oh no, they can see that I'm not well. They should be able to understand. No, they will not until you make it crystal clear this is what I want to do.
Hmm.
They've known you for however many years, living this kind of lifestyle, and all of a sudden things are changing. So you need to absolutely convince them, firstly, by you being certain that this is what I want to do and, standing on it. And I think I was going to say as well, so let us say we've got a partner that, okay, maybe you're not too sure how to say it. Number one tip, I think all of us women here, we've got mirrors in our houses. Do you know
Hmm.
what? It may sound
Most,
silly.
do you know what? This is a weight loss group. You would be surprised how many women refuse to either have a mirror or look in the mirror.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Even just a little face mirror. It doesn't have to be a full-blown, full-size mirror, just for your face,
Hmm.
or even using your phone, looking at yourself. You know, if you can't look in the mirror for sure, I can understand that. But you know what? Grab your phone. Do you know what? Take your phone, record yourself, listen to yourself speaking, practice. Okay, what am I gonna say? Okay, Bianca, this is what I want to do going forward. And listen to yourself. Practice. If you feel like, okay, my partner may catch me off guard, my mom, my sister, or whoever my support system is, may not be convinced this is what I want to do. Start practicing by yourself in your own privacy. Speak it out, practice, and say what you want to say. And I think it's easy sometimes to just think, I'm going to just go out there. You find yourself just wobbling and rumbling. And before you know it, you've lost the important thing that you wanted to say because somebody will come and derail your speech.
Hmm.
They'll come in and jump in. And for me, actually, one thing that I learned, me and my husband, I'm going to give you a tip. It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for some people. I write everything down that I want to say. I literally will write it down like in bullet points. This is what I want to talk about. Let's just say we want to have a conversation. Even actually, I do it even now. If there is things that maybe are in my mind that I want, things that are affecting us as a family or things that are, like a big project that I'm thinking about, whatever that is happening. I literally have like a notebook or even sometimes my phone, I just write like bullet points. And then when I'm talking to him, I know, okay, I'll address this point because we are human beings, we forget. And
Hmm.
sometimes the important things that you want to say, you end up missing them out because uh, the other person has asked you 10 other questions. Then you're like, what was I supposed to say? Oh, I can't
Yeah. And
remember
then you
now.
think that you finished the conversation. So you wrap up
Yes,
feeling a little bit displeased, and then you go off and then you're like, oh shit, I should have said this. And then,
yes. And it's
hmm,
so easily done. But if you write your thoughts down and bullet point them, and then when you're having that conversation and say, do you know what? Do you know what, babe? This is what I want to talk about. This and this and this. What do you think? Pause on that point, discuss it. If you feel like, it's been exhausted, move on to the next one. You've already, thought about things, even maybe things that you think, okay, I think he's going to ask me this. Write it down, as your kind of pre-framed answer to say, okay, if he says this, I'm thinking about this and this. And then when you're having the conversation, it can easily flow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that I do for sure. Writing things down, it allows you to be able to say things, exhaust what is in your mind because
Absolutely.
you know exactly what you're gonna say.
Absolutely. I'm making some good notes here, Star. I'm making some good notes. I'm going to try and put it in some like some clear action because you're giving us some really good gold pieces of gold here.
Thank
Amazing.
you. Well, I
Anything
hope
else?
so. And you know what, like I was saying, if you're able to, even listen to yourself, record your voice. I'm sure many of us here have got smartphones, record yourself. If you can't look at yourself as a video, maybe do a voice note. Record yourself, play it, and then listen to yourself and think, if I was the other person listening to this, will I be convinced? Because the tone of your voice says a lot as well. You know, if I'm coming to you like, oh yes, Bianca, this and this. And I'm like, oh, do you know what, Bianca? This and this and this and this. See the difference?
Mm-hmm.
The
Massively.
tonality of your voice says a lot. And it changes the trajectory of where the conversation could go. So that's very important. Own it. Own it. And say, you know what, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna own it. So if you're not too sure about, okay, if maybe because you got some partners who are they'll question literally everything, and then you end up feeling like, I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Record yourself and play it back to yourself and imagine, because your partner, your mom, your dad, whoever is being, the support around you, you know how they are. And then play it and imagine the other ones listening to that. How are they gonna think? Will they be supportive of you? Or they'll think, she's just joking like she always does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because they
Mm-hmm.
know you. They know you.
It's like pre-framing the conversation something that you recommend? Like, because I know it's especially for, and I actually saw something the other day about this,
Absolutely.
especially for men who want to speak up. They struggle to have an emotional conversation, and so typically they might go in with whatever they call banter or comedy, right?
Mm.
So, it was actually an interview with Davina McCall about someone who'd
Okay.
reached out to her, and she said, drop the comedy,
Mhm.
drop all the banter,
Absolutely.
and say, I really want to support you.
Yeah.
And so could it work the other way around and say, okay, all jokes aside, I really want to have a talk about something because it's important. So pre-framing the call.
Absolutely. Because then it tells other person this is a serious conversation. And that's very
Hmm.
important to you. But if you're gonna come in with banter like you normally do, automatically their mind is like, this is the usual, normal conversation.
Hmm.
Nothing different here, nothing serious here. So it's okay, we're gonna have some fun. But when you pre-frame it and say, you know what, I would like to talk about something that is serious or that is important to me. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, that doesn't happen all the time, isn't it? So it
Hmm.
gets somebody like, oh, okay, is everything okay? And they're willing to listen because you're coming from a different angle. Then you're trying to cover up and coming in giggling and everything else. Everything has got its place. But sometimes for you to be heard, you need to own that space and say, do you
Hmm.
know what? I want my voice to be heard today. This is what I want to say. And that's it. But I think it's important as well, for you to know that this all lies within you. And people are willing to give when you ask. Sometimes we don't get because we do not ask. We assume the worst of the other person because either maybe from previous experiences, but even those experiences, you know, what has informed them? Have you not followed through in the past? Then maybe you're feeling guilty, thinking, they know I didn't do that the last time and whatever. But what is it that you're going to do differently this time for them to say, do you know what? I can 110% support this person. It
Hmm.
needs to come back to you. You need to own it. Take responsibility. Take ownership. and say, this is my thing, I'm going to do it.
Amazing. I love that. Where is that going to go in my notes? Take ownership. Uh, take ownership.
You have to take
Okay.
ownership. Yeah.
Okay. I love that. Well, I've got some notes together.
Uh-huh.
Since you've been talking, can I run through them as like a little like step by step?
Go ahead.
Um, and then if I miss something that was really, really important, then you could pop back in.
Yes.
Okay. So number one, check your true desire and your why is strong enough to push you forward. Ask
Mm-hmm.
yourself, what is the cost? Give yourself permission to ask for what it is that you want and
Mm-hmm.
ask yourself, what exactly do I want? Get clear so people can also understand.
Mm-hmm.
Practice asking or talking in the mirror or phone. Allow yourself to voice the words you before you face the person so that you can actually communicate what you want to out loud without the person being the first time.
Yeah.
Write in bullet points what you want to talk about, and so you can pause on each point, resolve it, and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
Make notes about how to reply to expected responses. Pre-frame the conversation. Your body speaks 1,000 words. Use your body language. Choose your facial expression and tone,
Yes.
and then ask for support, not permission.
Yes.
Trust in yourself by following through on your word. Be consistent. Take responsibility for your choices and decisions. Accept your world. Don't expect the world to change for you, and take ownership.
Absolutely. That's very true.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I'm
Can I
glad I
give
went through.
you
Yeah,
an exercise that we can
please.
do together just to demonstrate something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you and me, we are looking at each other right now.
Hmm.
This is what happens when you want to express yourself understanding somebody else's perspective. They are not you. Yeah, you are not them.
Hmm.
So if I was to say to you, can you write a capital E on your forehead?
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm writing mine. Yeah.
Hmm.
And how would you write yours?
You got me thinking about it from what you're going to say now.
Capital E, yeah. Yeah. You're writing it the opposite of me.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same because I am doing this. Yeah. For
Hmm.
you, if you're doing it that way, it's going to be a very wonky E. Or if I get a piece of paper, I'm sure here a piece of paper somewhere. There you go. If I do this, don't know whether you can see or you
I
can't.
can't see it, it's too blurry. You need to use a big felt tip pen
Ah, yeah. I don't have
or your
one.
fingers.
Oh, yeah, my fingers actually. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. That's my E. Can you see that?
Okay. Yeah.
And how is your E?
The opposite to you according to the camera that I'm looking at.
Yes. It's
We're
gonna be
back
the
to back.
opposite. Yes.
Yeah, we're
So
back to back.
it will be something like this, and then other one is gonna be like this.
Yeah, yeah. We're like that at the moment on the camera.
Oh, is it? There you go. So this like a little demonstration of, seeing things from somebody else's perspective. It's not always our own perspective, but somebody else's.
Hmm.
Because the things that we want to do, they're very personal to us. And sometimes we expect the other person to just jump in and understand, but
Hmm.
they will not
Hmm.
until and unless we show it to them. And, being true to us, like I said, you honoring your word and doing it.
Hmm.
Because I think, even, we'll talk about confidence and everything else. You trust yourself. Because how many times have you broken your own promise that you've made to yourself? You're like, do you know what? This week I'm gonna do like 3 days straight. I'm gonna wake up first thing in the morning. I'm gonna run or I'm gonna walk. Did you do it? No. What happened? Uh, there is an excuse somewhere. You know what I mean? So how can you trust yourself enough and build the confidence when you can't even trust your own self? You are
Hmm.
letting yourself down. So then how do you expect another person not to let you down when you can't hold on to your own word?
Hmm.
It all comes back to us. All
Amazing.
comes.
I'm adding that on to the last one. Take ownership and build trust in yourself first.
Mhm.
Amazing, amazing. Just very quickly, Katie has mentioned in the chat, sometimes I just dampen my voice because I don't want to argue and debate with people all the time. Now, just a pre-frame, Katie is in the vegan space and she works for the Vegan Society, so I'm probably assuming or gonna hazard a guess that she's talking about the people that will start arguing with her and debating her with her about veganism. So anything that you would like to mention to her or questions that you'd like her to ask? She's really good with journaling and writing.
Okay.
So yeah, the question is sometimes I just dampen my voice because I don't want to argue and debate with people.
Do you have to be arguing and debating with them anywhere to start with? Because I think we have to choose our battles as well. There will always be somebody who's trying to, get a dig to look for something. But sometimes
Hmm.
we don't have to respond to everything. And sometimes even silence is speaking, you know, but it's got its own place as well. So
Hmm.
my question to her will be, do you need to be saying something in those situations? Or does what you do need for you to say something?
Hmm. I think where she works in the vegan society sometimes, and I have to please Katie, if you're here, shout. But I know you can't shout on the Zoom, but if you're here, let me know that you're watching. Otherwise, I'll have to try and speak for you. I'm just guessing that because the work that she does, she's doing a lot of activism and trying to
Ah,
explain the reason why she works for the Vegan Society
mhm,
and the world of veganism and debating and arguing for animal rights and the
mhm.
environment and stuff. So I think that sometimes she said sometimes I dampen my voice because she doesn't want to argue. Um,
Do you
yeah,
know?
I think
I
yeah,
can I can absolutely understand what she's saying because I think sometimes it's a double bind. That's how I see it, or that's how I say it. It's like, okay, when I say something, I'm gonna be punished or they'll argue with me. And if I don't say anything, no one's gonna say anything back to me.
yeah.
So whichever way is like you feel like you're not winning, you know.
Hmm.
But the important thing is if you have to say something, Katie, you need to have that certainty that even if somebody comes and say, do you know what you're saying is crap, it's rubbish, and tries to quash the argument that you have, when you know your facts and you know the reason why you're doing what you're doing, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It does not matter what anybody else says. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's not even about you saying who's going to win the argument. It's not even about that.
Mm.
When you put your point across with the right tonality, with the right expressions, with the right posture, and stand on your word, that's everything that we have to say. It's not about even winning an argument. It's
Mm.
not even about that.
Mm.
It's
I
about you
act,
owning your space and standing
yeah.
in your truth. And that's what it's about.
Hmm. I actually heard somewhere, and I can't remember what it was about, but someone said that winning an argument isn't being the person that has the last word.
No, it's not.
So hopefully that helps, Katie. Well, that's a lot of information. I'm so glad that I was able to make notes while you were talking, Star. So, is there anything else that you'd like to finish up with, or is that all of your information that you've just divulged with all of us?
There is never enough information. There is a lot. But I think what I'm gonna say is I think as women, this is a good opportunity for us to showcase that we are able to hold our own and do what we say we want to do without us having to feel like um we have to justify ourselves, with the other genders or with other people who differ from our own views. You know, I think it's time for us to own our spaces, own our voices, and stand up for what we believe in and do it. Because if we don't do it ourselves, then who will? And I'm going to say this as well that it's not even about just us, is for the generations that are coming, you know, behind us. What are we
Mhm.
leaving behind? What are we showing them? What are we teaching them? You know, one thing that somebody said was, I think I even wrote it down. I used to say it is exactly that. Um, and it really made me think. Um, they talked about one of the biggest regrets that people have, you know, talking about, you know, how the graveside is one of the richest places, you know, full of so much because you got unfulfilled dreams and unfulfilled destinies. They're lying down there, they're buried and stuff. Says the biggest thing or the biggest regret that people say before they die is, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And that's a very rich sentence.
Mhm.
And what does that mean to you? Because what is true to you is not true to me. What is true to me is not true to the other person. But then what can we do? Let's find the courage, the strength, and the resilience to be able to do the things that are true to us. Go for it. You don't want to sit back at the end of it all and say, do you know what? I wish I did. That'll be too late.
Exactly.
Regret is
Exactly.
the biggest pain. Biggest pain.
Wow. What a very poignant point to to finish on. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Stha. Thank you.
You are more
All right.
than welcome. And I was
Um,
gonna say, you know, just
yeah.
to wind down, you know, for us, it's not even like I said in the beginning, I'm not one of those people who is very eloquent, but I have owned my voice and have the confidence to say, do you know what? I have got something to share and something to say, and people are going to hear what I have to say. You know,
Mm-hmm.
those who
Mm-hmm.
want to hear and listen to me, they will listen to me. So same
Mm-hmm.
applies to all of you here listening today. If you have something to say, it's not even about you perfecting how you speak or your speaking skills or whatever. It's nothing to do with that. It's about you just owning your voice and being true to really what is you and going for it. And that's what it's about.
Amazing. Amazing. All right. Well, Start, would you be able to drop all of your social media and any freebies or something that you have in the comments up down below once the video is posted?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, I can. Yes.
Amazing, amazing. I'll get you to drop that in below. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate you. Thank you for being here, and
Thank
have a
you
wonderful
so
day.
much. Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to be in your space. I so appreciate every single person who will listen to this or every person who is tuned in. Thank you so much. And I hope that you're going to go out there and win whatever that looks like for you.
Absolutely, absolutely, my pleasure. And I look forward to chatting in your group soon.
Thank you so much. Speak to
You're
you
most
soon.
welcome. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.